Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Team Next Generation. This is our now bi-monthly calls. It is May 3rd, and as normal, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to show up tonight and hang out with us. I am really, as I said a second ago, I'm really excited about tonight's call. I'm really hoping that this kind of maybe helps us all shift the way we think about what we do, literally as coaches, like not just what we do on a day-to-day actions, but really what we are as coaches. I know when I heard it and I went through this call, I was like, oh man, it does kind of open your mind a little bit, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to share that with you tonight. Before we get into that, there's a couple things I want to do. First of all, this is going to be new, something that I'm just kind of playing with the idea of tonight and kind of starting here. So future reference for all coaches, the more of you that are growing teams, we really need you on these calls, and this is one of the reasons. Tonight, I wanted to just shout out real quickly and just kind of welcome some of our new coaches to the team. So I'm going to go through and list off a few names here. I'm probably going to miss a couple people. This is why I want the team leaders and stuff that are on here to kind of help me out with this, right? So that if I do miss them, they can shout them out. But I want to make sure that people that are jumping onto the team that are jumping in this really is a family. So I want them to understand that, you know, we high-five them and the little shout-outs that we put in Team Next Generation, but I also want to give them an extra little, hey guys, welcome in, and we're excited to have you. So I'm gonna, I want to, and I'm gonna butcher these names, guys. So I'm sorry right now if I destroy your last name. Please just know that I'm not trying to. So I want to welcome Emily Nikolka, Heidi Barnett. I'm really excited about both of them as well. Holly Imus, I think that's probably wrong. Tracy Now, I'm excited about. Let's see, Kelsey Dylan Feist, I believe, and Renee McCubbin. So all of you ladies, a quick shout out to all of you in our hands, a little clap, a little spiritual high five. Welcome to the team. If I missed a name there, guys, I'm sorry. Please just shout it out in the comment section when I post this tomorrow in the team page. Also, I wanted to talk to you guys real quickly about the Success Club trip. Deanna, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to share. I'm going to unmute you just so that you can, or will you unmute yourself? These trips, guys, are so much more than just a cool trip that we get to go on as coaches. The bigger thing about these trips is, like, first of all, they just spoil you. I mean, like, they really do, guys. Beachbody knows how to throw a party. Beyond that, they know how to make you feel important. And that, to me, is epic. The way, like, down from, we arrive on the plane, you get off the plane, you jump on a bus, heads out to the hotel, you get off the bus, and they are like standing in a line, they're high-fiving you, they're excited, they're, you know, like, immediately here's your drink, head on in. You walk into this big room where they're, you know, bringing everybody in, like where you're checking in, and there's everything going on, and the music's playing loud, and it's just like, they know that this is the time that they want everybody that's in that room to feel exceptionally special. And they really kind of play that card the entire time you're there, down to the fireworks and the huge, you know, like welcome dinner, as well as the exiting party. And then the bigger thing though too is they do these live talks, right? These, what are they called? I mean, like, I can't think of the name of it. You know what I'm talking about,
there's a top 10 panel and
the panels. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. They do these panels, and it's really insightful. They'll have the top 10 coaches sit on the stage and talk to you about what they're doing with their business, right? And what's going on, and they'll ask them questions. This time they had Carl Deichler, you know, led it, and then he brought out his wife, who is one of the co-creators of Shakeology with a guy named Darren Aline, and she went down the gamut and explained everything about it. I answered all these questions, and it was really interesting. I know a lot about Shakeology because I'm one of the weird people that actually gets into the whole science of the stuff. There was stuff in there that I was like, I didn't know that before, and it wasn't about the ingredients. It was about the process and how they go to make it. And it was really interesting to see why, I guess is a better way, why they are unapologetic about the price of Shakeology. And I know that a lot of us struggle with the idea when we're talking to somebody about, oh, but you know, they're saying that it's expensive. And when you sit in a room like that and they're explaining all this information, and we've got some of this on film, so we'll try to share this. If we haven't, you know, we'll share a little bit more in the group so you guys can, you know, see it as well. But it's really interesting to see, like, oh, that's why. It changes your mind, right? And it changes the way you think about it. And now, like, when I left that room that day, I was like, I am completely unapologetic about the price of Shakeology, period, compared to everything else, because it's just nothing like anything else. And it totally made sense when they explained it. And so there's a lot of training and stuff like that that goes on on these trips that's super valuable to us to help more people in the way that we think about what we're doing. What did you want to say about the trip, and how did you feel about it? Or
well, yeah, I mean, like what he said is the minute you walk in, you feel really special. Like, I tend to be an emotional person anyways. Like, when I'm happy, I cry. When I'm sad, I cry. And so, like, walking in that room, Jessica's on the phone, so she's probably crying. But like, it's just kind of like it overwhelms you, but in a really awesome way. Because you're just like, wow, this is all for me or for us, you know, and it's just an awesome experience. It's kind of surreal. Every time we've gone on a trip, it's really surreal, and it just makes me feel so blessed to be part of a community like this. And not only that, but these trips are truly great to really network with other coaches, right? Because I think sometimes we think that there's only one way to coach, but there's so many different ways. And so, you know, you communicate with different people, and you find who you vibe with, and you learn things, and you learn tips and tricks and tools to utilize in your business that's going to make you successful. So, you know, some people might love what I have to say. Some people might love, you know, what Nicole has to say. It's so awesome to be surrounded by like-minded people, but that kind of do everything a little bit different, and then, you know, take a little bit from everybody. So definitely, guys, if you guys can be there, I definitely recommend it. I wanted to also say, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I'm going to pull this up real quick on my, so next year, the trip is to Riviera Maya, which is a Hard Rock one as well. And guys, Hard Rock was amazing. So we stayed 4 nights at the Hard Rock, and then we actually went to the Rio and extended our vacation. No comparison, like no comparison. They just treated you like you were just royalty and just happy and just whatever. It was amazing. So Riviera Maya is going to be the next Success Club trip that's going to be next April. And they typically, like, we earned the trip last year. So it's your your actions that you do the year previous will get you an invitation to the Success trip. So like what you're doing this year will get you an invitation to next year's Success Club 2000, so far away. Anyways, but if you guys have not earned a spot or an invitation, they are doing a 2018 Success Club trip promotion. And what that is it's for people, and I'm going to read this to you guys, because it's for one room on the 2018 Success Club trip to Riviera Maya in Mexico. So it says during any month of the promotion, which is now through the end of the year, and it's available to people that are diamond or below. If you are the top promotion point earner each month for that month, they will pick 3 people, the 3 top earners, like Success Club earners, and give them the option to be a point, right? So if you earn 2 Success Club points, you earn 2 promotion points. In addition to, if one of your coaches or multiple coaches get at least, get at least 1 Success Club point. Huh?
Sorry, I don't want to stop you. Will you repeat that last part again real quick? You cut out. Did she cut out, guys, or was it just you cut out, you paused, so I didn't really cut that.
What part? Sorry.
The right before that, you're talking about like the top Success Club earner or
okay.
Top Success.
So yeah, each month, whoever, so they're basing it off. Can you close that door, Mama? Thank you. So they're giving promotion points, right? And a promotion point is a Success Club point. So if you get 2 Success Club points, you get 2 promotional points. In addition to, if you have a coach that hits Success Club that much, or not even Success Club, but gets 1 Success Club point, you get another point. So Francine, for instance, have 2 coaches, 7 promotion points that you get. Am I cutting out?
Yeah. Okay. So here's what we're going to do, guys, because I think this might still happen. We're going to film a video that explains this. We'll put it in the team page so that you guys can see it. But what you need to understand is that there still is the opportunity for you guys to be eligible to find a space on that trip. And we'll tell you how later on in the team page. Is that okay, babe? Yes, that's okay.
It's also in the back office, Justin. If they want to see it physically, it's also in your back office.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, there's a link to all that information in the back office as well. Okay, so on to what I want to share with you guys tonight. So my hope for tonight is that you guys, that everybody, this helps find your passion as a coach. And I truly believe when we look at what we do in this framework, it's going to change a lot of your perceptions, because I think there's a group of us that, and I'll be the first one to say, guys, this is me. I like health and fitness. It is not where my passion lies. My passion lies in helping people find financial freedom. So it's a very different thing. And so a lot of times for new coaches or coaches that have been in it for a while, they can find themselves in a place where it's not that they lose their passion, but they just lack the passion that they might want to have on it, or that they started with, because they get into an idea where this is based around health and fitness and not opening that mindset to different things. And that's what I want to walk you guys through the process of tonight. So first of all, the first thing I want to say is I want to kind of keep this, the next training that we're going to give you guys over the span of the next few months, I want it to sit under the umbrella of be as arrogant as a rock star. And when I say arrogant, guys, I'm not actually saying arrogant, right? I'm using it as a descriptive word that goes far to the left of the right being insecure, okay? I don't actually want people to be arrogant, but I want the level of confidence to be really, really, really high. So I think that really kind of sets the bar mentally on what I'm saying. So it's, hey, we want to be as arrogant as rock stars about what we're doing. And really what that's saying is we want to be as confident as we possibly can on what we have to offer. But the only way we can be that confident is if we understand truly what we are selling as coaches, okay? And I know this isn't about sales, but follow me here. The first thing we have to understand is that true leaders, and that's what we do, right? We are leaders. So when you help somebody get more healthy and fit, you plug them in a challenge group, you are a leader. When you're building a team and you're helping people reach their financial goals, you are a leader, right? You're leading the team, you're leading the group, you're leading your friends. You are a leader. You're a leader in your family, even if aside from coaching, you're a leader, right? As leaders, we are, and I love this quote, leaders are dealers of hope, okay? So what we sell, what we deal is hope. And that is a big mental shift on coaching. And I'm going to break that down for you guys. But let me start with kind of explaining what I'm talking about here. So when some of you know that I'm a hairstylist as well. And when I went through hair school, I grew up and my parents had one of the top 0.5% of salons in the entire world. Quite literally, it was one of the largest salons in the United States. They built it in one of the largest salons in the States, but it was ranked at the top 0.5% of salons. I went to, because of them, they put me, when I decided to go to hair school, they put me in one of the best schools in the world for it, right? So I went through this stuff, and then when I started working at their salon, I went through their training program. And in my mind, what I was doing is I was falling into this umbrella of Hickok Salon, right? And so I was becoming a Hickok stylist, and I was following all the kind of, I say rules, but, you had to dress a certain way, you had to act a certain way, you had to do certain things. And really, in my mind, what I'm offering people right now, what I'm selling is a Hickok Salon stylist, right? And not only that, in my mind, I was Hickok Salon stylist's son, so extra Hickok Salon stylist. That was my product, right? In my mind, that's what I was selling. What I didn't realize, and what I kind of came to learn, and especially what I've noticed, what this training and what Beachbody as a coach has really kind of opened my eyes to, is during that time, I realized that was not at all my product. That's not all what I was selling. That had nothing to do with what I was selling. Okay. What I learned was all that stuff was the packaging to what I was selling. Okay. And it's the exact same in what we have with Beachbody, right? What I was selling was I learned how to do a good consultation. And that means that I learned how to ask people the right questions. And as long as I asked them their questions, I could give them answers. I was giving them solutions. And what I was dealing was in hope. The hope that finally somebody that understands what I want. Finally, my hair is going to work now. Finally, I'm not going to have the same struggles that I used to have in the past, because people weren't coming to another salon if they were happy with what they already had, right? So they were coming to me for something different than what they had. I was asking questions, and I realized that they weren't buying the package, okay? They weren't buying Hickoks. They weren't buying, the suit. They weren't buying any of that. They were buying the hope that I was giving them for what they could have in the future. And that was a realization that once I figured that out, everything kind of shifted, right? Everything kind of changed, and it allowed me to kind of be more of who I actually am as a stylist. Same thing goes here, okay? So the thing is, and I got notes here, guys, so I'm gonna be going back and forth, so I apologize. In Beachbody, what happens is the minute we become coaches, we become this part of this package, and the Beachbody package is the products, right? The nutrition plans, the workouts, Shakeology, Beachbody On Demand, all the performance line, Energize, right? All these things are the package. So what we feel like we're supposed to do as coaches is recommend, sell, help with these products. We become Beachbody coaches, and that's great. And I'm not telling anybody that that's a bad thing, because it's not. It's an amazing vessel. But what happens when we think that is, once we consider ourselves Beachbody coaches, and once we think that this is our product, we start going online and we start holding up our Shakeology. This is not. And we start taking photos of us with our Shakeology, and we start talking about Shakeology, and we start talking about, hey, I'm doing my workout, check out T25, check out P90X. We start branding it. We start doing all this stuff. And it's not that that is not okay. It's not that we don't want to do that on some level. The problem is we put the majority of us and what we post online in this area, and we don't focus on what the true product is, which is us, our story, who we are, and what we're really trying to add to the world. As soon as we shift over here and we take the emphasis off of this, everything starts to transition, everything starts to change, right? But the only way that we can truly do that is if we actually know what this product is. As long as we consider ourselves coaches, and as long as we consider ourselves Beachbody coaches, and we put ourselves into this little arena over here, we can't talk about this product. And so what ends up happening is people now see us as salesmen, right? They can't help but to see us as salesmen because that's what they see. I'll tell you right now, guys, and this is going to sound harsh, and it's not to sound harsh, because do not get this twisted. Gianna and I were totally, every single coach that starts out goes through the same process. We all do it. Nobody has not done it. If you look back at our posts from when we first started coaching, there's stuff that I look at, I'm like, I can't believe I did that post. Every single one of us did that post. But the fact of the matter is, especially now as coaching is growing and more people are seeing it, no one gives a damn about the Shakeology post. No one cares about the workout post. They don't relate to it, right? It does not impact them, okay? It's good to sprinkle that stuff in a little bit here and there, but it's not what drives people. It's not what gets them to understand who you are. It's not what gets them to relate to you. So therefore, they're just looking at you as, oh yeah, you're another person that sells Shakeology. That's what they see. Even if you're talking good talk, but they're seeing a lot of the branding stuff, that's what's going on here. They're just seeing, oh look, check this out. You're one of those people that sells Shakeology, especially now that there's more people doing it. So what we have to understand is, before we can ask for anything from anybody, we have to add value, add value, add value. This is something that I struggled with a lot, especially when I started, and it's actually something that I've only started to kind of learn more about over the past year. The first year and a half of us coaching, I was really I was confused about it, because in my mind, adding value meant I had to give you information. I had to teach you something, and if I couldn't teach you something, I really wasn't adding value. And I've come to recognize that value is added by a host of different things. Sharing your story, sharing your struggles, being authentic, that's adding value. Little tips, little bit of humor, that's adding value. There's many ways to add value, but again, the best way we can add value, truly add value, is if we understand what value we need to add, and that is understood by understanding what product we are truly dealing in here. And in a second, I'm going to give you kind of some insight as to how to figure out, because everybody's product, this is the great thing about Beachbody, everybody's product is different. None of us are selling the same product. We all are Beachbody coaches, but we all have an entirely different product that we're actually selling. That's under the kind of that umbrella of Beachbody, right? And also under the idea of hope, but it's an entirely different product for all of us.
Hi, Emily. I just want to recognize you. I just saw that you're on.
Sure, I can lead you over.
Sorry, my computer was having issues, so I have to jump on his.
Absolutely. Okay, so what we ultimately want, what we ultimately want is when we're posting things, if we really want somebody to follow us, right? And I don't mean follow us online. I mean like follow us on who we are and really listen to us and have faith and trust in us. That person has to think. We want them to think, this is a person that inspires me, and this is a person that I aspire to be more like. Okay. If we can get to a place where we're adding value in a way that's people are looking at our page and going, man, that is a person that inspires me. That is a person that I aspire to be more like. Is that right? The right word, aspire? Yes, I aspire to be more. I'm not that smart, guys. So I'm winging it here. But if we can get that into that place, that's when all of a sudden this whole idea of attraction marketing comes in, where you're attracting people to you. That's what draws people to you, right? The only way we do that is through 100% authenticity. We can't be fake. We can't fake that. We can't pretend to have something like that. We've got to just be us, and that's naturally what's going to come from us. Sorry, you guys. That's kind of, this basically gets into the idea of, as long as we're sharing more of our story, far more of our story and who we are, and less of the product, Shakeology, Beachbody On Demand, the product, the nutrition plans, workouts, all that stuff. As long as we're sharing far more over here than we are over here, we're going to do very well. But the second this area starts to, creep in on this area, now we're going to struggle a lot more. Okay, it's going to be a lot harder for people to kind of relate to who we are. This is one of the things I love too. Do you guys know that we're in one of the only businesses I've ever seen, ever? And please correct me if somebody else has another business that they've seen this into. One of the only businesses I've ever seen where your struggles, every struggle you go through, is an opportunity, right, for you to come out on top, right, for you to deal with it and overcome it, which is then the perfect opportunity for you to inspire other people. It's the only thing I've ever seen where literally the worst things that we go through are the best things that we can go through to help inspire other people to grow our business, right? We are more successful when we struggle. Yeah, that's insane to me. Any other business, the more you're struggling, the more, many times it can come off as a weakness, right? Go find a job at a bank or in corporate America where you're applying for a job and you're struggling on everything on the resume and you're trying to share all your weaknesses with them, and they're looking at you like, okay, so yeah, there's about 4 other people here right now that are way better than this because all I'm hearing is weakness, right? It doesn't, it's incredible that we have an opportunity where this is true. But the hardest part is embracing that and understanding that and really fully recognizing that we see our struggles as weaknesses. Right. But everybody else, as long as we are conquering them or moving through them or at least dealing with them in the most positive manner that we possibly can, we are inspiring other people. And that's when they're going to relate to us. That's when they're going to follow us. That's when they're going to learn to love us. That's when they're going to learn to trust us. That's when they're going to be open to us sharing with them what we're doing.
So my mentor, Jessica, she inspired me to actually change. Because I remember I used to get so frustrated because I would call her or text her and I would say, gosh, I'm dealing with this issue or I'm having this struggle or whatever, whether it's in business or just personal life or whatever. And she would always say, you know what? That's a great problem to have. And I'm like, what are you, crazy? It's not a good problem to have. But she would always turn it around. And so now I do that. Like I may have done that to some of you already where you're like, well, I'm having a hard time in there. I'm like, that's amazing. Yeah. Because you know what? That allows you to actually go through that. So when somebody else inevitably goes through that, you can relate and you can empathize. You can say, you know what? I've been there and here's how I was able to get past it. So truly like finding those obstacles as opportunities. Mm-hmm. I say that a lot. Yeah. It's truly awesome. Like when you can get that mental shift, like this kind of stinks, but what can I learn from it? Or how can I be stronger because of it? And once you switch that, just, it's amazing. And it does inspire everybody. We were talking today and we're probably gonna go live about it. A lot of times we're afraid to be vulnerable because we think it's weakness, right? But how many times have you seen somebody be vulnerable on TV or, somebody overcoming adversity and you're like, man, they inspire me so much. Like, oh my gosh, I feel so uplifted. I want to go out and I want to conquer the world. But in ourselves, we see vulnerability as weakness, but nobody else does. So imagine your vulnerability is inspiring other people. Your struggles are, people can relate to and connect with and go, wow, she was able to overcome that, or she's still in that, but she's not letting it defeat her. So
absolutely. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of how this all looks. Let's kind of bring this all together here for you guys so you can use this to help you in understanding how you're going to present yourself on social media, because that is really what we do, right? So I want you guys to adopt a phrase, and I want you to think about this phrase. First of all, you're going to have to fill in the blanks here, but I want you to then, once you've got the blanks filled in, think about this. And when you go to post things on social media, think about this before you start posting it, right? Or as you're thinking about it. Imagine about what you're going to post. So the phrase is, I am a motivator and a mentor helping people blank. Okay? So again, write down, I am a motivator and a mentor helping people blank. Okay? That is going to look different for everybody. Now, what is in the blank? The blank is kind of your mission, right? Your mission is, think about what you honestly want to change in the world, right? More often than not, what you want to deeply change in the world is going to stem from specific circumstances that you've been through, things that you've overcome, things that you have found a way, even that you might even be struggling with it right now, but you're getting through it, right? Imagine, just for easy explanation, imagine somebody that's got, 300 pounds to lose and they've lost 100, right? They still have 200 more to go in their mind, or for whatever reason. So they haven't overcome that, but they figured out something that's building that light. They figured out where that hope comes from, and they're moving in the right direction. So for them, it might look like, hey, I am a motivator and a mentor helping people find, a healthier lifestyle to reach their fitness goals, whatever that is, right?
And I'll go one step further, just sorry, really quick. It doesn't always have to be about health and fitness, right? Like I think about, like when I did this exercise, I started really thinking about who I was. Okay, I was raised by a single mom. I had 3 different fathers. None of them are in my life anymore. I was abused, but that doesn't define who I am, but that allows me to overcome. So I want to help people that have overcome. So we all have a story, right? And so we all have that ability to help people with our story. And so my mission is to help other women overcome the insecurity and the lack of self-worth that they've been told, and really know their worth and their value and how much strength they have, and to give themselves grace in allowing them to go through that journey, because it's not always going to be perfect, right? We're going to mess up because we're human. And so allowing yourself grace to go through the ickiness and be okay with that, right? So that's kind of my thing. Like a lot of it doesn't really stem from looking a certain way or whatever. I really want to empower women to love themselves, have confidence, and give themselves grace.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm the same way. Mine actually, like I said earlier in the call, I have nothing to do with, it really doesn't have anything to do with health and fitness, Mine stems from growing up, going through financial, where you live in a, multi-million-dollar neighborhood, and then you've got money, and then you don't have money, and then you've got money, then you can't put food on the table, and just doing this, right? So that's where my ideal of, if I'm writing this down, mine looks more like, I'm a mentor, I'm a motivator and a mentor helping people find financial freedom and deal with their financial stress. Like it really has nothing to do with health and fitness, right? Doesn't have to. That is one of the things that really, when I heard this and I kind of put it into practice, I was like, everything changed, right? Because think about it this way. You're eventually going to be talking to people about the coaching opportunity. And you're going to have people say, hey, you know what? I love the idea, but I'm not super heavily into fitness or whatever. Cool. You don't have to be, right? That's not what's going to define a good coach, is somebody that's into health and fitness. This is a vessel for us to achieve what we want to achieve and what we want to change in the world. That's what Beachbody is. And I'll explain more about what she's talking about and everything else in just a second. But the biggest thing about this is it's allowing us to step outside of the box, outside of that Beachbody box, that Beachbody brand, and understand that what we do as a coach is not pigeonholed into just being a health and fitness coach that sells, quote unquote, sells Beachbody products. It's not what we do, right? Think about it this way. If you use that phrase that I gave you, right? And then you think about, okay, hey, I'm a coach now, right? I just signed up, I'm a coach now. What do I post? I'm a coach, so what do I post about, right? Like I'm a health and fitness coach, so I can post my shake or drinking healthy food or eating healthy food. I can post workout videos and selfies. I can post workout moves, meal prepping. I can post different nutrition, different meals. You know, I can post motivation about working out, right? The minute you set yourself in the box of I'm a coach, and this is Beachbody, and this is health and fitness, everything, you just got fully limited, okay? But if you start off with the idea of I am a mentor and a motivator helping people X, and that's what we're leading with, all of a sudden now, wait a minute, I'm posting about, we're going through a Dave Ramsey finance class here pretty soon. I'm going to be, because it's important to me to share that with the world, I'm going to be talking a lot about that in my post, sharing things that we learn about that, right? I'm going to be posting, I post a lot more about the coaching opportunity and what we've been able to achieve through coaching, because it's a financial freedom thing to me, right? So it's building that business. So that's who I'm talking to. That's what that's what I want to give back. So it really doesn't have anything to do with health and fitness necessarily, right? It's like taking that out. So it opens you up into being able to think about it a lot more broad, because it is a lot more broad than that. So instead of so instead of thinking, you know, what do I post today as a Beachbody coach, think, what do I post today if it looks more like I'm a motivator and a mentor helping people X, right? What do they post? So let me think about this for a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, so yeah, when you start focusing on adding value instead of presenting a product, right, then everything starts to change. And that's kind of what we were talking about before. The minute you start saying, this is who I am, this is what I want to give back to the world, now I'm posting and I'm adding value. And I'm not posting about Shakeology, right, or even, you know, the workout programs as much, right? I'm peppering that in, but I'm posting a lot of other stuff, right? All of a sudden, that's when people start to catch on and start to relate to you and start to follow you and start to come in. They start to love you. And that's really, really what we need to go through here. So the questions I want to leave you guys with that will really kind of break this, and I want you guys to be able to answer this. So, write these down and answer them. But the first question is, what's the story you have to tell? Okay. And that story is, what have you gone through in your life? What have you gone through? What are you going through right now that you found hope for? What have you experienced in your life that drew pain that you don't want other people to have to deal with, right? Or that you don't ever want somebody else to have to experience? What is your story, right? What have you gone through? Write that down, okay? Sit there and think about that for a second. Take you guys' time, right? Think about it. And then the next question is, based on that story, okay, what product has that story or transformation created that you actually want to sell? Okay, the product is not a physical, tangible object. The product is freedom, hope. It is confidence, self-worth. It is a myriad of different things, right? Like, it's whatever you want to give back to society. That is your product. So what does your story look like? What have you gone through? And every single one of us, it is not just we've all had something, right? Let's think back when you purchased a Shakeology or a Beachbody program, right? Or if you signed up as a coach, which all of us did, right? When you signed up as a coach, you did not buy Shakeology or a Beachbody program or sign up as a coach for the coach. You know, what you bought in that was your hope for more health, your desire to lose weight, your desire to gain muscle, your desire to get more confidence, your desire to finally find financial freedom, your desire to do something that was more surrounded in community, your desire to have more time with your children, your desire to be able to be more active with your children. You bought that product, right? Whatever that product was that you purchased, what you really purchased, more often than not, I guarantee you worked through that product, right? You aimed for that goal. That's more than likely your struggle that you have been through that you have now to share with other people. Does that make sense to people? Thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay. So those are the questions. Answer those and then use those to kind of format how you're speaking about what you're doing, because that's truly what we're trying to sell. I feel like you're.
Oh no, I was just seeing if that was
that's as far as understanding really the product that we're selling. That's really all I wanted to share with you guys is it's just the idea that you don't have to be passionate about health and fitness, right? Health and fitness isn't what absolutely determines your ability to be a good coach or a successful coach. What you have to be passionate about is something that fits under the Beachbody umbrella, One of the things I love about Beachbody. You know what that umbrella includes? Pretty much freaking everything. It includes health and fitness. It includes confidence. It includes financial freedom. It includes personal development. It includes community. It includes, I mean, like literally just about everything you could ever want. It's in that. We just use Beachbody as the vessel to help people achieve it.
And there's great ways that you can incorporate, because I will admit, I'm not a health and fitness, like I don't go, woohoo, let's rock out and work out all day. I'm like, dude, I got 30 minutes and that's all you get me for. Other than that, I'm bouncing out. Don't like working out. Yeah. But so I mean, you can pepper that in, but I'm passionate about being a mom, right? Like my kids are my life. And so there's a way that you can kind of marry the two. So say instead of saying, hey, I did my P90X3 agility X Kempo, whatever, and I'm drinking my Shakeology vegan chocolate, ding, you know, you can say, you know, there's nothing more important to me than being mom. And that's why I take 30 minutes to myself, so I can be a better mom, I can be a better spouse, and I can take time for my health and fitness. So see how you're still peppering in what you do, but it's not who you are. You're a mom. Your passion is being a mom. And so you're sharing how health and fitness is important for you to be a better mom, right? And moms can relate to that, and spouses. Absolutely. Or you know, people that are married. Like, hey, I know if I get 30 minutes of me time every day by, you know, in the garage by, you know, pushing play, I know that I'm going to have more patience with him. I'm going to have more energy to get through.
I need that.
Yeah, I usually take all my energy out. Yeah. But, you know, so I mean, really, really combining what we're doing with what you're passionate about. It's really, really an awesome thing, and a really fine dance, you know, that definitely takes time. So again, I say this word all the time, like I'm literally getting a tattoo. I don't know when, I talk about it all the time. But grace, give yourself grace, because I think so often, especially newer coaches, right? You're just like, I'm overwhelmed, which, you know what? Give yourself permission to be overwhelmed, because it's new. Like anything new, it can be overwhelming, right? But give yourself grace and know that it's a process, and know that we're a team and we're a family, that we're all here together. And then if you're like, you know, can you help me out with this? Absolutely. That's what we're here for. Hey, I'm struggling with this. Hey, great. Let's work through that together, and know that it's a process. So I love failing forward. I think it's amazing. I think sometimes people think of failure as a bad thing. And so when I use it, people are like, oh, you didn't fail. And I'm like, no, I did, but I'm glad I did. Because I'm glad to make a post and go, that was kind of poopy. That was kind of, you know, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, well, let's learn from that. Okay, well, here's how I want to provide value, or here's how I kind of want to run my challenge group. Okay, well, did that really help people? That did. Okay, well, let's keep that up. Well, that didn't. Okay, well, let's try to switch that. And that's the awesome thing about what we do, is we can do whatever we want to do. And if we mess up, it's cool. We don't get fired. We just keep trying, and we keep trying, and we keep trying, and we don't quit. We just keep trying. And with consistency and love and having a heart and truly a passion for yourself, for your family, and for others, you're going to go far.
What she said.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions? I mean, and guys, FYI, so that's a lot of information. And one of the things too that I think she was that she maybe was getting at a little bit or hinting at, don't let yourself get overwhelmed by this kind of stuff. Don't overthink it, right? That's why those simple questions of literally just like, hey, figure out your story. Like, we've all got a story. Everybody's been through something. Figure that out. What did you go through, right? Understand that more than likely, and it might be different, so know for yourself, but more than likely, that's probably the change you want to see. That's probably the value you want to give back to the world, is having other people not have to deal with those struggles, right? That's part of the value you have to give. So just understand that, and then just recognize that your job, what you're selling, your product, is purely the ability to achieve whatever it is that you have learned how to achieve, or that you're going through and you're learning, you're achieving currently, right? That's it. And then just post about that, share that. And so all you're really doing is you're just sharing your story. Like that's it. You're just sharing, I went through this, man, I remember this. This is how I'm dealing with it right now. This is how I feel. All right. Like so don't try not to overthink it. Does anybody have any questions though? Like, and there's not going to be any dumb questions, because you don't have anything I'm not going to be asking. But does anybody have any questions at all about any of that?
I have a question. What if I don't know how to share my story?
What do you mean if you don't know how to share your story?
Well, like I don't know. Like what if I don't want to like throw myself out there? Like, will people like Sometimes I literally.
She's just trying to throw me under the bus.
No,
right
I legitimately, like, sometimes, I mean, I've been coaching for what, 2.5 years, 2 years, like, full on. And I'll fully admit, like, sometimes there's some things that I still haven't fully shared, right? Because you're still, like what I shared earlier, by you sharing your story and you being vulnerable, it inspires other people. But to you find it like, you feel like weakness, or somehow, like, I'm always afraid of, if I share my story, I don't want people to think of me as a victim. That's my thing. Like, I'm like, I want to be a light. I want to show people I'm an overcomer. I'm a hero of my own story. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want people say, oh, I'm sorry for you. So I guess I'm not asking necessarily how you do that.
Yeah, your question isn't how you share the story. Your question is, how do you get over the concern of sharing your story?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that concern?
Yeah. And do I have to, like, throw it all out there, or like, I don't know.
So my first answer to that would be no, don't. If you guys are struggling with that at all, you don't have to throw it all out there at once. You pepper it in. You share a little bit, whatever you feel comfortable with. And as you share more and more and more, this is what's going to happen. The more you share, the more of those vulnerable things you're putting yourself out there to share or to talk about. Those are going to be the posts. And we've always said, and I'm telling you right now, if it makes you sick to your stomach to say, go, send, right? Or submit, enter on that. If it makes you sick a little bit, that's going to be the post where you get so many people reaching out to you in private messages, commenting on the post, sharing, like, thank you so much for sharing that, man. Don't keep your head down. The love is going to come out of the woodwork to support you in those scenarios. You're going to be amazed, because I've done it. She's done it. We've all been to that point where it's like, I don't even want to send this. And then all of a sudden you get all that support. And then what you're going to find, which is even more powerful, far more powerful to me, is you're still doing this 5, 6, 10 months from now, right? A year from now. And you're going to be reaching out to people in private messages, and you're going to be saying, hey, starting conversations with them, starting that relationship. And you're going to just reach out and say, hey, how you been? Long time no see. I love this. And you're going to start getting these messages back where people are like, hey, by the way, I've been watching you. And remember that post that you shared about this, whatever it was? I want to thank you for that, because it really, really, really was something I needed to hear right then, right? And you're going to recognize the impact that you have silently on people. You don't even realize, because they didn't like it, they didn't comment on it, they haven't been liking your, and all of a sudden you're going to start seeing this stuff come back around, and it's going to make all those little times where you're scared to share your story a little less scary, because you're going to be realizing how many people out there that you don't realize you're actually impacting them, right? We honestly, be through social media and what we do, we have the ability to legitimately, guys, no lie, legitimately change the trajectory of somebody's life. One thing you say, if it's the right thing at the right time for the right person, could literally change the way they see life and their future from that point forward, right? It's just that one little click. But the only reason that's ever going to happen is if you step out of your comfort zone, you take that risk, and you actually say that post or put that post out there. Because if there's no depth to your post, people aren't going to resonate with it, and it's not going to be touching anybody. So it's the scary things that we share that all of a sudden people like, oh my gosh, I'm going through that too. That is exactly what I needed to hear. It's kind of like those suicidal tendency posts, right? Where people start sharing the fact that they've been suicidal or whatever, and that they share that one moment that changed it for them. Can you imagine how many people are reading that might be struggling that moment right then, right? Literally, where they're like, I'm going to go take my life right now, and they, for whatever reason, happen to pull that one post up and read it, and they said, you know what? Thank you, because I'm not going to do that now. Like, that is the kind of payment you get for being a little bit scary, or putting yourself out there a little bit. I'd say that's well worth your butterflies in your stomach about sharing something that could change somebody's life that dramatic. Does anybody else have any other questions besides this one over here that's just gonna try to put me under the bus on something? Anybody?
Jessica, do you have any things that you want to share from the success trip?
Yeah. You guys, so everybody said, and it won't even sink in, because everybody, the last 2 years, I've been listening to all the people that go on those trips to be like, oh, they're so great. It's really amazing. And Justin would ask me, are you super stoked for Punta Cana? I'd be like, yeah, I mean, of course, but I'll tell you what, I have never been on a trip like that in my life. And oh my gosh, why would I get emotional? Why does that happen to me? Okay, so I could not recreate that in my current income level by myself, period. Like, no way. In a few years, I'll be able to, because I'll be such a successful coach that I could. But I won't have to, because I'll be able to go on those trips every year. You guys, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, it won't even sink in, because when you get there and you are treated so amazingly, and we didn't want for anything. I mean, I adapted to it so fast. Like, the day before we left, I had to open my own door, and I felt like disgruntled. So that's the best. Like, oh my God, I just had to open that door myself. That's ridiculous. I mean, it was that nice. So whatever, I didn't do anything that miraculous last year to earn my space into the Riviera Maya for next year, or to get that trip paid for. I wasn't hitting over Success Club 10 every month. I was ranging between 5 and 10. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like I was doing anything like it was so crazy. And I got invited to this next year's trip on that amount of work too. So when they say there's a way for you to get still to earn next year's trip, try, because you will not regret being on that trip.
And for some newer coaches that are on the what Success Club, like SC5 and 10, that's just helping like 3 to 5 people a month. So
yeah, every person you help with a challenge pack, every person that you plug in a challenge group with a challenge pack, you receive 2 Success Club points for that. It's that simple. So you get 3 people, you help 3 people, that's SC6. That's
right.
5, you're above 5.
So our goal is always to help a minimum of 3 people, because it just shows, 1, that you're changing people's lives, and 2, you're growing your business, and 3, the incentives, like
dudes.
We'll do a whole call sometime on just that too, because
we met some really cool people too. I mean, even Charles had like a gang by the end of it of guys. And like they said, it's all different sorts of coaches, and you see that, and all of them are doing quite well. Like I said, I'm on the lower end of the spectrum there as far as success at this point goes. And man, it was just really, really super inspiring. And I can't wait for next year already. I mean, it's nice today, but
yeah,
they
are epic. And it's not a bunch of fluff or like hype, guys. Beachbody, they've been founded as a company. They've been founded on the idea of opportunity for families. They recognize that one of the biggest things that families don't get to do is spend time with each other and go on these vacations because our work stands in the way. This is a large part of the company. Like, this isn't just something that they just do because they want to pay you back, right? Or give you incentive. It's really important to them that you spend time on these trips with your family. There's not a ton going on Beachbody related during these trips. They have like a welcoming party, a going away party, and then they have one time in the middle where if you want to go to the little classes, you can, and it's a 4-hour period. The rest of the time is like, you go have fun and hang out with your family, be with your family. It's all about family. It's super important to them. So they go way overboard with it. Like, it's something they enjoy. You can tell that Carl and everybody in corporate, just like, it's something they have fun with. So they just go out on it. They love it. And so we get lucky on that. So,
and oddly, kind of just, and I'll do this really fast, but just to tie into what they were saying earlier, I had kind of an odd experience for me while I was there that really hit me like in an emotional spot. And the next morning, I, for my own benefit, I wanted to write it out, process it. And I flat out said in the post that I needed people to reassure me that everything was okay. And when they said that those private messages that you get, I mean, I probably had 180 comments on that post that were, reassuring me, not just talking about what had happened, but thanking me for the stuff I've been doing for the last couple of years as a coach. And then I got a lot of private messages from people who were newly sober thanking me for sharing my story because it helped them. And so, for me, that kind of stuff is really valuable. If writing that post did make me feel kind of weird because I knew my parents weren't going to love it, but I was so grateful. Not only did I go on the rest of my trip feeling 100% better, but I know that I hit a few people in a place where they might have really needed that at that moment. So sometimes those things that seem kind of like embarrassing or hard to share, or almost always, they're going to be, if you can do it in a way that shares your heart, it'll affect people in a positive way.
Totally. So true, Jess. So true. All right, everybody. Well, if nobody else has anything else, I don't want to keep you guys any later than you have to be, because I know it's late for some.
Oh, but I will do a shameless plug. Who's going to Summit? Raise your hand.
Oh, yeah. So who knows who doesn't know what Summit is?
I was like, you better raise your hand, Emily, or you're a liar.
No, that's a very fair thing, Emily. Don't worry about it. But Summit is, that's another one, guys. Like, you walk into the room, sorry, and then we'll let you guys go. But you walk into the room to go, like, get all your badges and stuff, right? So that like, and literally when we were there last time, you walked into the room, and the second, it's a big room, and there's all these people ready to check you in. The second you walk in, they look over at you, and everybody, there's like 30 people. They're all like, yay! And they clap for you, and you're like, what the heck? You're looking around, and they're like,
Who's behind me? Michael Jordan.
yeah, like there's nobody. They're just like, yeah, way to go, good job. Come on in. We're like, what the? It's just how they do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
And so what Summit is, it's a 4-day event. That this year it's at New Orleans. And so a lot of training on what we do and how to help people, and social media, and reaching out to run challenge groups and helping coaches and all this stuff. But then in addition to that, they have these amazing, like they're like stadiums, right? They have a stadium, and they like fireworks shows, like bigger, like we live in Washington where a lot of fireworks are legal, and we have like where our fireworks supposed to be bigger than west of the Mississippi, like the biggest ever.
There's blowers away.
They're that, yeah. And they like have like big old huge dance like things. They had Jody Messina there and Billy Idol last year.
Yeah.
And they just make you feel like $1 million, and it's fun, and it's just community, and it's just it's amazing. So there's fun and training, and I say that anybody that can get there, definitely get there. And I believe, I need to double verify, I need to find out, but Tina Stewart has earned her ticket to Summit.
Congratulations.
Hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, and guys, here's the deal. At the end of the day, Success Club trips, well, Summit specifically, and Success Club trips too, but Summit specifically, any successful coach you talk to goes to Summit every year. Success leaves clues. That's how I figured that, it's probably smart that we go. It's as simple as that in my mind. At the end of the day, you will not find a coach that's really successful in the business that doesn't go to Summit.
Right.
Like, they're there, right? And to me, there's probably a reason they're there. And it's not because they earned the trip, right? Like, It isn't. They're paying to go. It's because they recognize the value that is going to be there for them. So they know that this is something that, if I'm going to treat this like a business, I got to show up at these trainings.
Yeah.
And they're fun.
Yeah. And Nicole just said, don't forget Super Saturday, which everybody should know about that, except for Emily. We'll include you in too.
Yes.
But the next one's going to be in August. And what it is quickly is it's just a quarterly event that's local in your area. They have them all over the country and in Canada. And so, we help you find one in your area. You go to it, other coaches that give training. Sometimes celebrity trainers come. So you might have Tony Horton come in and calling you to get down and give me 20. You never know. Yeah. Because he will.
Yep, he's been at ours a couple times. All right, everybody. Anybody else have anything to say? Anything to end with? Any questions? Nicole, what's up?
No, I just think that I think you said August. I think it's September, isn't it?
Was it September?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, it was in August, because typically it was in July. Oh, maybe you're right. I don't know.
I don't know. I just remember seeing the ticket.
Okay, September. I'm a liar.
Of course, got a VIP. What?
I'm just going to go a month early. I'll just be there.
There we go.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, everybody. Well, hey, again, we appreciate you guys showing up and taking the time out of your nights tonight. If you guys have any other questions, don't hesitate to comment below this video when I upload it tonight or tomorrow.
And thanks for jumping on the call, new Coach Emily.
Yes.
Yeah, good job.
That was awesome.
Kels was going to be on, but she had to take her baby to the ER, so she'll be on next time. Yeah, she's been fighting ear infections, and